RVing for Newbies, also known as RV Mentor. Today, we start a series on electricity, specifically 120 volt alternating current. Let's begin. RV Mentor, RVing for Newbies, ethics disclaimer. All the tools being used, the items being installed or reviewed were purchased by RV Mentor. The only exceptions will be denoted in the next slide in this video, giving the name of the manufacturer, the items, and how they were acquired, donated, etc. The things stated in this video are the opinions of RV Mentor and are just that, opinions, but are based on 13 years of being an RV owner and being an RV inspector. Let's get on with the video. Welcome to electricity, alternating current. We're quickly going to talk a little bit about volts. When people are talking about volts, you'll hear them say 110, 115, 120, 220, 230, or 240. When I'm talking about volts for this lesson, I will use 120 and 240 as the numbers. First, because it makes for easy math, and ideally, that is the voltage you should see in your RV from shore power and your generator. Safety. Safety is our number one thing when we're talking about electricity. It is of the utmost importance. You don't want to get shocked when you're working on your RV. You don't want your family members to get shocked either. One of the things we will talk about later in the video is called a hot skin condition. And I'll give you a great explanation of exactly what that is and how you don't want to touch the outside of your RV and know that it's electrified and you feel a tingle. Anytime you're feeling a tingle, that's a bad thing. It only takes 20 milliamps, which is 20 thousandths of an amp, to cause your hand to clamp down and you will not be able to let go of an energized wire. Think about that. On a 20 amp circuit, the breaker will not pop before you're being shocked. 30 milliamps can cause your heart to go into fibrillation, also known as irregular heartbeat, and it can kill you. It doesn't take much to kill you. Things to keep in mind when working with alternating current. Number 1, unplug shore power. Number 2, ensure your generator is turned off. Number 3, if your RV can automatically start the onboard generator when shore power drops or is disconnected, turn that off. Number 4, power off your inverters. Okay, as we explore more about electricity, let's take a look at shore power. My motorhome's hooked up to the 30 amp plug I have in my garage. It's showing 60 hertz, 121 volts, just fine. No complaints, green light there in the middle. Okay, as you can see above, the top is the polarity checker. It has 2 orange lights. So what does 2 orange lights mean? Well, let's take a look. Let this camera focus in here. We're looking at 2 green lights means everything is good. It's correct. Notice there's a button on top of here. You can push this button and you heard that sound to the left of me? That was my GFCI tripping. That is how you test your GFCI. You should test all of your GFCI plugs at a minimum once a year. You want to make sure that these bad boys will trip in the event you have something happen so you don't get electrocuted. You usually find your GFCI plugs somewhere near water, in your bathroom, the kitchen sink, outside. Those are usually all wired together. All right, let's take a look at the setup here. You should be able to hear me relatively decent. I've got a couple of Honda EU 2000i's, circa 2007 or so when I bought them. They have a parallel kit hooked up so I can run the 2 of them and be able to pump out on a 30 amp circuit to my RV. My RV is currently plugged into it. Normally, let's take a look at what we normally see. All right. Take a look at this. This is throwing a red light which says reverse polarity. Who knows? What in the heck is going on with this? These guys will run just fine, but not only will the surge protector complain about it, your EMS, if you got one, is going to complain about it too. Right now it's throwing 127, 0 amps, 60 hertz, and it's throwing an E2. We'll look and see what an E2 is. We'll pop it up on the screen. Now, I own one of these gizmos here. Looks like a normal 3-prong plug, right? You plug this bad boy into either side of the 120 plug, your normal 15 ampere. You plug that in, and now you get 2 green lights on here instead, which means power on and everything is good. There, see if you can see it this way. Move my hand out of the way. 2 green lights. right? So it's all good. You then look over at the EMS. It says 127, 0 amps, 60 hertz, E0. But it's also showing a PE2. All right, so we're inside my 2018 Thor Chateau. Things are just coming back to life because I just plugged it back in. When you're doing your tour of your RV, ask them, where is my converter? Where are all my circuit breakers and stuff? You'll find, if you didn't do that when you bought it, look around for something that looks like this. All right, it may be slightly different. It may have 2 openings. It may only have 1. That's your converter box. Let's take a peek inside. In here, at least in mine, are all of my circuit breakers. Get up close and personal. And all of my fuses I need for my 12-volt DC stuff. And we'll talk about that when we talk about the DC aspect. But for now, we just want to show you circuit breakers. All right? There's a 30, mine's a 30 amp service from this RV. There's a 30, a 20, a 15, 15, 15, 15. Makes you think about this though. Let's see. If it's only a 30 amp, I got a 30 amp main breaker at the top. I got a 20, a 15, that's 35. Another 15, that's 50. Wait a minute. Those don't all add up. Yep, if you try to pull more than 30 amps across those, you may not pop your individual breaker. You may pop your main circuit breaker, which is the one at the top that says main. Keep that in mind. If you're running your air conditioner and you fire up a hair dryer, there's a good chance on a 30 amp circuit you're going to pop it. We've done it once already. So we're going to go, we'll have our hair dried. Wife's in there, she pops that thing on. I ask her to let me know beforehand. I'll turn the air conditioner off while she's drying her hair. Food for thought, keep that in mind. When we get ready to talk about the DC aspect of things, we'll flip over to the right side of the converter and we'll talk about those fuses, especially those 240s in there. Those are important, and we'll talk about that when we get to batteries. All right, now we're going to take a look at an automatic transfer relay. You also hear them called automatic transfer switches, also known as an ATS. Let's take a peek inside. All right, take a look. Not a whole lot to these guys. There really isn't. The main purpose in life is to decide who gets to power the 120 outlets in the RV. Normally, this is a 30 amp RV. It has 2 connections coming in, either the shore power or the generator. And the decision has to be made. We don't power the RV from both. We power it from one or the other. So that being said, that's what you see in there. A lot of wires and a microprocessor to make a decision as to who wins. In a lot of cases, but of course, like anything else in the world, there are always exceptions to the rule. In my RV, generator wins. If you're plugged into the generator and you're plugged into shore power at the same time, the generator wins. It will not pull electric from the shore power, it'll pull it from the generator. That being said, when you go to open this and do maintenance, you, number 1, do not have shore power plugged in. Number 2, do not have your generator running. Number 3, if you have one of those kind of RVs that has a generator that has an automatic start feature, disable that. You do not want to be in here messing around with any of this stuff and have something, the generator like that, kick on and you get electrocuted. Safety first, all the time. A couple of things to think about when you're talking about an ATS. In here, there are a lot of screws and there are a lot of wires. Once you're sure there is no electricity passing through this bad boy, you need to look up the specs for how tight these screws need to be, what the torque settings are for these. The manufacturer will usually give you that info. You want to make sure these screws are tightened to that exact spec. You tighten them too hard, something's going to break. You leave them too loose, you're going to have wires potentially get fried, you're going to have electrical problems like crazy. At least once a year, pop open this case. Make sure you got no electric, Come in, take a peek, shine it around with a flashlight. Make sure you got no burned wires. You're going to see anything singed in there. All right? This is an important thing. You don't want your RV to catch on fire. And this is one of the places it could. Food for thought.